No more dragging. In this video, I want to share with you the dangers of low energy, how it almost bankrupted my business, and I want to share with you the 3 culprits that steal your energy. Let me share this quick story. In 2015, I almost bankrupted our business. And the reason, I was in a big energy funk. I was completely exhausted. I could barely keep up on a day-to-day basis. I don't drink coffee, so the only way I knew how to deal with it was just go home and sleep. I would sleep for 3 to 4 hours in the middle of the day. I could barely get up. I was like struggling. I would try to work out and I was just like completely flat. I was pushing business away because I just couldn't keep up with it. And to make matters worse, my wife was pregnant with our 3rd child and she didn't really know how to help anymore. Luckily for me, I had a trusted mentor that really helped me. He took me through an energy audit, and what I found that there were 3 main culprits, 3 main areas that were really sucking the life out of me. Number 1, the first thing was screens. Now, screens are all around us. Most people work in front of a computer screen. Needless to say, phones follow us everywhere we go. And what's crazy is that the global average is about 6 hours and 40 minutes of screen time every single day. But not to be outdone, the US average is 7 hours and about 2 minutes. 7 hours and 2 minutes staring at a screen. Social media has made that even worse because now we have the phone with us and we're constantly scrolling and constantly being in front of that screen. So here's how I was able to make some shift there, because the truth is, for most of us, we can't completely escape it. Screens are a part of our life, but how do you maximize your screen time and minimize the overexposure? Number 1 thing I did was get some blue light blocking glasses. That really helped the strain of the eyes, and it helped decrease the stimulation of what's called the reticular activating system. It's that thing that engages you, and it's really triggered by that blue light that we get from the screens. By wearing those blue light blocking glasses, it helps to reduce the stimulation so that now your body can go into that sleep mode, especially at night. And you know, another big thing about the screens themselves is that they're responsible for eye fatigue, headaches, neck aches, back aches. They're responsible for depression, anxiety. And so if you're feeling any of those things, as well as lacking energy, you need to really pay attention to the screen time. The last thing that I tweaked for it was putting the screen of the phone specifically on grayscale after a certain time in the night. And what that does is it makes everything like in black and white. And so because you don't have the colors, it's not as stimulating, and it's not something that entices you to keep scrolling because you're not really seeing it to the full vibrancy that you can. And so that one little tweak made a big difference. It just, instead of like putting a stopper that says, oh, you can't look at the phone, which also is a good strategy, by making it less appealing, it makes you less likely to do that doom scrolling and just scroll and scroll and scroll. The second thing is poor nutrition and hydration. Now, here's what I want you to think about. We're made up of about 60% water. So if you're dehydrated, your body is working much harder. It's increasing the friction. And if you're eating crappy processed foods, your body is not going to be able to produce what it needs to from an energetic perspective. In fact, those processed foods suck energy out because they're a negative food. They're a food that creates energy for you to break down, but don't give you that nutritional sustenance that you need. Let me give you this example. If you had a Ferrari, would you put diesel fuel in it? Well, I hope not, because if you did, you would completely destroy that engine. Why? Because a Ferrari is a high performance machine. It needs that high octane fuel. If you put diesel in there, it's going to completely blow the engine. The same thing happens for you. Unfortunately for us, we don't have that big of a result. In other words, processed food doesn't immediately blow us up in most cases. And so what happens is like a slow death. It starts sucking energy from you slowly but surely, and you don't even notice that it's happening. It's that boiling the frog effect, that if you put a frog in regular water and you slowly boil it, the frog won't even know. It'll just feel it getting warmer and warmer until it's boiled. And that's kind of what happens. So remember, you are a high performance vehicle. So fuel yourself as such so that you can get the most energy and the most return from that. To improve upon this, here are two things that you can focus on from a nutrition and hydration. From a hydration perspective, at the very least, you should drink at least 70% of your body weight in ounces. So again, just to make the math simple, if you weighed 100 pounds, you would at least drink 70 ounces of water every single day. If you're more, find out what 70% of that is, right? So from a nutritional perspective, get rid of all processed foods. Processed foods, like I said, completely suck energy out because they require energy to break down, and you don't get the nutritional nutrients that you need from it, and so it's a net negative overall. Focus on whole foods, good quality proteins. Animal proteins are fantastic, but as with anything, the higher the quality, the better. Focus on whole foods like fruits and veggies. Try to stay away from processed carbohydrates, all that stuff. Fruits and veggies is all you need, as well as good quality proteins. The final thing is stress and overwhelm. Nobody ever talks about this. This is literally the silent killer. Let me share a story that illustrates something similar to what stress is like on your body. In 2019, I decided to go for a hike with a 75-pound pack on me. And I hiked for 3 hours. By the time I was done, everything hurt. My shoulders, my neck, my back, my hips, my legs. I was completely drained of energy. I was beat down. What's crazy is that the year before, I ran for 6 hours. And I'm not saying that I didn't feel anything, but I didn't feel a fraction of what I felt just walking with that 75-pound pack. Now, why was that? When I'm running, I'm free. My body's free to move. It doesn't have a load weighing it down. It is moving in the way it's supposed to. When I was doing that hike with that 75-pound pack, it was just weighing me down. Each and every step, each and every impact was a reminder of that weight that was on top of you, just crushing you and sucking that energy from you. And that is exactly what stress is like. Stress will weigh you down and completely suck all the energy from you. Now, I don't know about you, but stress is in my life and in all my clients' life. Like, it's not something you're going to escape. But in order to minimize its effect on you, I think it's important to understand it. And I feel like one of the best ways to understand stress came from a mentor of mine, Dax Moy. He's amazing. But Dax shared with me that there are 3 things that cause stress. Number 1, things are moving too fast. Number 2, things are moving too slow. And number 3, there's unclear intent. Now let's break those down. When we have things that are moving too fast, this is the vision or the image that I want you to put in your mind. Imagine you've never been skiing and you have one of those amazing friends that says, hey, follow me, and they take you in the back country. You are learning how to get on skis and he's taking you through this technical route where now you're going through the woods. And so now you're learning how to ski and you're trying to avoid trees that are trying to kill you. Think of that stress. That's what things moving too fast. Like, can I adapt quick enough before something kills me? That's kind of how your brain interprets things when things are moving too fast. So how do you overcome that? We gotta slow things down, possibly even change the environment. So let's take yourself out of that dangerous skiing situation, right? Especially if you've never skied before. And now we put you with an instructor that is teaching you step by step. He's putting you in an environment where it's safe, it's open, the bunny slopes that are not too steep, it's well groomed, you don't have trees trying to kill you, right? All of a sudden, we've slowed things down so that your body, your brain can adapt and feel like it's able to really absorb what's going on, and it feels more in control. Now, what happens when things are moving too slow? So here's the best example that I came up with, which is, I don't know if you've ever had the experience where you wake up a little bit later and now you're gonna be late to work. So you're hurrying out the door and it seems like the world is conspiring against you. You hit every single red light. And then when you finally get free and you start driving, it seems like everyone forgot how to drive and now they're just blocking traffic. If you've ever experienced that, that is stress when things are moving too slow. You need to get to work and everything is slowed down and it's increasing anxiety, increasing stress, right? So how do you overcome that? We have to, again, change environments or speed things up. So here's an example of how that could shift in that location, right? And again, I'm just making this up. So let's say you were late and there's no way you're gonna get there by car, but what if you had a helicopter? You can hop on the helicopter and now you don't have to worry about all the traffic. You're not gonna get that traffic. And again, for the sake of this video, we have a helicopter, right? It's a way of changing the things that are moving too slow, in this case, traffic. What's another option? Changing our environment. We can call in and say, hey, I'm gonna work from home. We'll Zoom all that stuff. So now you don't have to worry about traffic. You can sit at home, you can set up your desk, and now your stress levels are lower. The final thing is unclear intent. And here's the vision that I want you to get. Imagine somebody sets you up in a room that's pitch black that you've never seen, and they say, all I want you to do is walk from one end of the room to the other end. And before they leave, they say, oh, by the way, be careful for the mouse traps. How confident are you going to be walking across that room? Not very. Why? Because you can't see. Things are not clear, so you're not going to be able to move freely and confidently. And so that raises stress. And that happens in our life many times because we're unclear of what we want to happen, what we actually want with our life, like what's going on. And so how to overcome this is quite literally turning on the lights. I know that seems kind of weird, but what you're trying to do is gain clarity. So imagine that same scenario, the room that's pitch black, and they say, hey, careful with the mouse traps. Oh, here's the light switch. You turn on the light, and you can see all the mouse traps. Now, how confident are you that you can walk across without stepping on the mouse traps? You literally just walk around. Why? Because things are clear. You can see what's there, and you can see the start, you can see the end, you can see the route. And that is how you overcome unclear intent. So let's review really quickly. The 3 culprits that suck the most energy from you are number 1, screens, number 2, poor nutrition and hydration, and number 3, stress and overwhelm. And to tap into the stress and overwhelm, we have to see what makes up stress. So things are moving too fast, things are moving too slow, or there's unclear intent. I hope this has been helpful, and now it's your turn to start plugging these holes that are draining your energy. Before you go, let me share this quick invitation. If you want to continue your growth going against the herd, I want to encourage you to join our community, join our newsletter, The Non-Conformist Way. The link is in the description below. I'd love to have you join. You'll get videos like this, a newsletter, just to continue to feed different perspectives of how to view things that the majority of people do, and they do it average. If you're the type of person that wants to be extraordinary, you have to be focused on doing things the non-conformist way. This has been me, Armando. I'll catch you later. Take care.